No, not really.
All
Not too
right,
much.
we are live. So, hi everybody. Beth Holland here from EdTechTeacher. So, I want to welcome all of you who are joining us online. So, I'm super excited about tonight. We are going to talk about one of our new favorite tools at EdTechTeacher, which is Formative, which is a assessment system. And we are joined this evening by David Kwan, who actually works with Formative. So, he's going to give us the ins and outs and maybe some sneak peek into things to come. And to Anissa, I can't pronounce her last name. Labrador, did I do it right?
You got it.
Okay, just checking. I wasn't sure. All of a sudden, I'm like, I've never said her name out loud before. Psyched to be joined by Anissa as well, who's one of our instructors. I am in cold, miserable, rainy, disgusting Rhode Island right now. It's not pleasant. I'm joined by two people who look like they've seen the light of day. So, Anissa, I'll let you introduce yourself, and then David, and we'll get things going.
Yeah, so I'm Anissa. I am in sunny Orlando, and I am an instructor on the EdTechTeacher team and the lover of all web tools, including Formative. So I'm excited to be on this webinar with David.
Awesome. So I'm David, and we're in Inglewood right now at our office in California. And I was a classroom teacher for 4 years in New York, and now I'm the community manager of Formative. And so, yeah, just really excited to connect with all the teachers out there.
And David, how long? I honestly can't remember. How long have you been working with Formative?
Well, I'd say basically since July.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's when I started to talk to Craig, one of our co-founders, another former teacher, and just spitballing ideas about what Formative could be one day.
Got it. Because I know it's really been relatively recent that we discovered using it, so it's super nice to have you here and to get some ins and outs. And so for those of you who might be joining us live, please know that at any point in time, please fire questions away in the chat box. We'll be keeping an eye on that as we go, so please don't hesitate to reach out if you have anything that you want to add or anything you want to chime in with. But I know that, like both of you have already said, we've been really excited about using Formative lately because of the fact that it is web-based and it works on any device, and it has a lot of features that other student response systems don't necessarily have. And so, while we still use a lot of other tools, this has become one that's really filled a niche that we didn't have anything that could fill before. So it's really exciting to have David, to have you here and to be able to go through with it. So, if you want to even, I'll turn it over to you, give us a little background on sort of the thinking that you guys had about setting up this tool and how you envision using it with folks, and, we'll kind of go from there.
Definitely. So just speaking from my own experience as a special educator in New York for the past 4 years, I really tried my hardest to provide for my students with special needs, but I always felt the need for a tool that would allow me to quickly identify what strategies they were using and their misconceptions as well in a co-taught classroom, and to provide them with the ideal learning environment to really intervene and help them learn from where they're at. And so, yeah, I guess for me, the idea of Formative was just born out of frustration with having to, lean over shoulders and take time to really identify strategies when and pulling students out of the classroom and working in small groups. I just really wanted to speed up that process. And so I had a similar idea to creating Formative, and my brother put me in contact with Craig, who had a similar experience several years before as an 8th grade science teacher. And he was just working on building a technology to help his students and using data to really make informed decisions. And he had that same frustration with waiting till the next day or a little bit too late to really act on what students needed help with. So I'd say our tool is definitely born out of that frustration. And the way we're addressing it is by allowing teachers to watch live responses that their students are creating, whether it's typing or drawing or inserting media, and acting on it. And I think what I'm most excited for is, we let teachers see live responses come in. We let them automatically evaluate them or manually, score them. We let teachers give instant written feedback, but I'm also just really excited for where we're going to grow from there in terms of providing those interventions for those, just from my experience, for those students with special needs. But it's, we're also headed in an interesting direction with just tracking student growth over the course of the school year through standards or skills or concepts that they're learning. So.
Well, I have to say, like, one of the things, I was using Formative at our Innovation Summit a couple weeks ago, and I had not used it in this particular context before, which was doing some skills with other teachers. And what I loved was walking around the room with my iPad and knowing exactly where everybody was, and I could see responses, and I could see how people were progressing. And I know you're going to walk us through this in a moment, but just that idea of being able to see where a student is before they hit submit. I don't have to wait for them to submit their answer before I could go in and intervene and say, oh wait, let's take a look at this. Let me, see if I can't scaffold or provide you some other feedback. And so, that's something that's been just really invaluable to be able to communicate to other teachers as well.
So great to hear. Yeah, I think when teachers see those live responses come in, it gives them just an instant view into student learning and just that clear understanding of what are the next steps I need to take as a teacher to help students.
I spent a lot of time in the classroom as well teaching elementary school, and I know I can see this being used in a math lesson. Students are working on a problem solving question, and I'm circulating around the classroom, doing the regular traditional feedback, and while I'm on one side of the room, someone else is struggling on the other side, but may not have the nerve to raise their hand and ask the question. But with using Formative, I could individually help those students at the moment that they need it, before they start going down the wrong path, or before they think they're solving it correctly, and then they have to undo that process to relearn it. And I think that's at the point where this is so beneficial for classroom teachers, because students practice incorrectly so often, and then to undo that mistake takes a lot of effort on both the student and the teacher. And sometimes that carries over to home, and they continue practicing incorrectly before anybody can catch on.
Definitely.
So without further ado, I know we were talking before, but David, if we can actually all share screens. I think Anissa and I were going to play student. If you want to start walking us through the back end of Formative and go from there, if that works.
Of course. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Awesome. So I'm going to just go ahead and log in with Google. Okay. Let's see. I've got so many accounts now, just for different purposes. So here we are in my teacher account, and I'm going to go ahead and create a class, which I'm going to invite Beth and Anissa into. So I'm going to click on classes here, and then let's see. Let's get rid of this one for now. I'm going to call this one webinar class. I know it's not very creative, but so just like that, I've created a class, and now I'm going to go ahead and allow Beth and Anissa to join it by giving them the quick code. So can you guys see that quick code right there?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. And so Beth and Anissa are going to go ahead and navigate to goformative.com. And do you guys have student accounts just yet?
No, actually, I only have my teachers, so this will be, I'll start from the beginning.
That's completely okay. So, because it takes like literally seconds to get set up as a student.
Okay,
So if
perfect.
you go to goformative.com, you can click on sign up at the top.
All right. And now I'll be a student.
Yeah, and go ahead and click on student. And then you can use any login information you want. You can use completely fictitious information. This is especially important for younger students. And you don't need to include an email.
All right. And I'm really glad you said that, because I know I've had a few teachers who do teach elementary who've asked and said, well, wait, my students don't have Google accounts and they don't have email addresses. So that's a nice... Oh, wait, it says I do have to put in an email.
So it's either email or username.
Okay, I'll be Beth student.
Sweet.
David, let me ask you a question. On a class code, do you have to, is it case sensitive with the code?
No.
Okay, great.
There's a lot of little details like that, like the username and the password. But yeah, I'm very certain it's not case sensitive. So,
It's not, because I just messed it up.
yeah, got it.
All right, so I'm now signed in.
Anissa, are you doing all right over there with it?
Yep, I just joined, so I should be there.
Awesome. And so, can you guys see the class code?
Yep, I'm actually in your class.
Sweet. So yeah, it looks like Beth just entered the class code in the top right of the screen just to instantly join my class. And if I go ahead and refresh the page, I can see that both of them have joined my class. Right? And so now that I've had Anissa and Beth join the class, I'm going to go ahead and I got this example assignment. Should I create a new one or just go with this one?
Whichever you prefer.
Okay. So created this example assignment in advance. So we've got a multiple choice question here. And I've just set 4 choices. What is the capital of California? And so I can edit this if I want. I'm just going to put it right back in. And then you can add additional choices as well. So you're not just limited to 4 choices. Right? And so I went ahead and I selected the correct response so that it could be auto-graded. So it's Sacramento. I shouldn't be giving you the answers right now, but
I would have gotten that one wrong too.
oh, geez. Okay.
I would have said Hollywood.
Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, I'm not great on my geography, so no judgment whatsoever. I've got this show your work question where I'm asking them to plot these 2 points to form a line. And I've gone ahead and just added a background image so that they can easily draw over that. And they're going to have both a free draw tool and then a straight line draw tool to use. I've got this short answer question, which is explain the process of evaporation. And then lastly, we have the earth is flat, true or false. And I went ahead and set the correct answer as false. And so now that I've created the assignment, I can go ahead and assign it to either everyone. So this is for students without accounts, or it's basically if we click on everyone and we make it publicly available, we can give any one of these shortcuts, whether it's a quick code or this link, or we post it to our Google Classroom, or embed it on a class website. We can give anybody these shortcuts, and it doesn't matter if they have an account or not, they can access the assignment. But since Beth and Anissa have joined my class, I'm going to go ahead and assign it to them by just clicking on my webinar class, and then looking at these choices, I'm going to pick open so that they can respond to it. but they can't see their scores just yet. And so, yeah, do you guys have any questions, or anybody have any questions out there so far?
No, so far I think we're okay.
Okay, so if you guys go ahead and navigate to your dashboard.
Okay, like right here?
Yeah, you got it. And so if you go ahead and click on your class, and then Anissa, I'm not sure if you're meaning to share your screen, but you can click on webinar class, and then that assignment that says example assignment.
Yeah, okay.
So, Beth, should I share my screen too, or just yours?
Yeah, go ahead. We might do different things, sure.
Well, I'm on my iPad, so I'm not sure.
Or not.
Yeah, that's completely okay.
That's
See
fine.
my scores on his side. How's that?
Perfect.
Definitely. So before you guys get started, I'm going to go ahead and just pull up the live results page so that our audience can watch these responses come in
No pressure.
live. And so, so I'm going to go ahead and actually, from the get-go, you can see I already have student responses from all these cartoon characters. I'm going to go ahead and filter those responses, and so I just see yours coming through. And I see that Anissa has responded to that first one.
Here, I'm going to put what I would have thought knowing that I was wrong, just so you can show that it's wrong.
And I see Beth's coming as well. If you guys want to move on to the second one, and Anissa, I can see that Anissa is starting to respond.
Wait, -1, negative. This is hard. Hang on.
Awesome. So I can see that. I'm going to go ahead and click on Anissa's response here. So plot 2, 1. So x2, and then up 1. So awesome job with that. And then -1, -1. Awesome. So I can see she used the straight line draw tool to really make that line straight. Awesome. So I'm just going to keep on moving with you guys.
I'm flunking straight lineness with a line tool. I have failed.
Did you teach science, Anissa?
No, but I taught 4th grade, so we covered the process of evaporation, I think.
Okay.
I'm remembering correctly. It's been a few years.
Yeah, great job. So if I want, I can go ahead and grade this manually graded question. And a lot of our teachers ask whether or not you can disable scoring. You can totally just set a question for 0 points so a student doesn't see a score associated with that feedback you give them. So let's say you got a great response and I can give you instant written feedback. And so when I send this, Anissa, or I guess I can send it to Beth as well. This is just surface level written feedback, but Beth, you're going to see that instant feedback pop up right below your response. This is a great example.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
So, and you were able, I haven't submitted yet, so just the fact that I can get this before I even hit submit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we don't want to provide that extra barrier for students to show their understanding. We want that right up front. Awesome, so I see you guys answered the last question as well. And you can see this last one was auto-graded because I set the correct answer. And so it's already auto-graded. And then you can also notice here we got the score bar. So that's actually showing the overall understanding of all the students who have taken the assignment. So you can see that 2 students got the question incorrect and then 5 got it correct, and the average is 71%. So just having that quick visual helps teachers informs the decision of what questions to focus on. We can move over to the summary view too, and we can also see that same data, but this allows you to also just visually pick out trends in student understanding, and then perhaps see the students that that need further support or intervention. So I'm looking at Beth right now, and I know, Beth, that you know it's Sacramento, but I got here that Beth might need a little help with question 1 and then question 5. And so if I want, I haven't given any feedback there just yet, but I can go back to the single question view and give some feedback to Beth. And and then you also have the ability to hide scores, and then you can hide names as well. And this is really great for whole class discussions. You know, a lot of teachers project the live results screen so that they can have a conversation with all their students and actually let their students lead that conversation. You can see here, no identifying information is given, and so a teacher can just literally just pick one response and then have any student come up and explain that student's work. And so this is really great for me and for working with all students, some who might not want to share, and just really, you know, allowing whole class discussion without, you know, any embarrassment, but also just praising students who don't necessarily want to, you know, be highlighted in that way. So just a great tool for whole class discussions.
I don't think I'd clicked on those buttons before to realize that you could hide the results and hide the names. That's really exciting because people always ask and go, oh, I wish I could project it and not have everybody's names on it.
Yeah, that's it's one of my favorite features, and I almost wish, you know, we should do an even better job of making that apparent, you know, up front. Because I know the class filter was something that a lot of teachers didn't realize right up front. And so, as you pointed out, Beth. So.
Great. Well, we had come up with a kind of a crazy workaround to that with, you know, duplicating assignments and coming up with ways to track it, and like that's certainly a really nice feature. And I know in the past I haven't had people join classes, but now I'm starting to reconsider and think that when I do introduce this in workshops that I might have them go ahead and do that anyways. Because before I was always doing it where I just sent out the link and said, okay, here's the assignment, no accounts are needed. You have to rethink that.
Exactly, yeah, and I definitely encourage people to get classes set up. As we saw, it takes literally less than a minute to create it, and then you just have to give students that class code. And it's just really awesome because you can actually return scores to students. And you know, as we were highlighting here, we can change what the students are able to do with that assignment. So I can actually set it to instant scoring so that as soon as you respond to something, as long as it is an automatically graded question like that, the Earth is flat question, it'll automatically show the student whether they got it correct or incorrect. So definitely encourage people to create classes.
Yeah. So here's a question, because I haven't actually tried this before, but if we're in the assignment and you decide to now add another question, will we get the new question, or do we?
Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Cool. Because will you show an upload and transform too? Because that's, I think, is my favorite part about this whole system.
Or I guess I'll do something more fun. What is your favorite state college? I'm just taking this straight from Formative Chat, which happened yesterday, and somebody else moderated. This is like the opening question. So what is your favorite state college? And then if you guys go ahead and refresh your page really quick, you'll see that question come in. So, you know, this isn't quite as reactive as we want it to be, meaning, you know, that change should update without you refreshing the page, but it's what we're working on right now, making our site even more reactive. So you might have noticed, like, the written feedback is reactive, so the student doesn't need to refresh the page in order to see it. And we just want to make that the same for everything.
If I had submitted and then, like, I still haven't hit submit yet, but if I had hit submit, would I be able to go back in and start the assignment over again? Or to go back and add on to it if you said, oh yeah, I just put another question in?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you're saying, would you be able to?
Well, yeah, like, so let's say I hit submit right now, right? And so that's now gone to you, and then like, let's say that you now add, you know, an upload and transform question. Will I be able to go back in?
Definitely, yeah, you'll be able to go back in. Basically, that submit button right now is just you're closing the assignment, like the window for the assignment.
Okay.
But you can go back into it as long as I, like, as a teacher, that's what, you know, I want you to do. So you can control what your students are able to do with the assignment from this assign panel. So whether it's open, which it currently is, so you can go back in and change your responses, or whether it's closed so that, you know, you can no longer respond, but you can see the questions and your scores and the written feedback, or if it's instant scoring. So that means that those scores automatically update as you take the assignment. And then if I want to take it away from your dashboard, I can just click this toggle and then it'll disappear. And I can make it appear on your dashboard whenever I want again by just returning to this assign panel here.
Okay.
Are we all good over there?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And so, you know, when we finish up, one thing that teachers like to do is they like to export the student responses along with the potential scores. This might take a second to open, but one thing we added recently, which is pretty cool, is that we also include the class names in the export, and so that, you know, that all the responses are already organized by class, you know.
Okay.
So rather than just appearing in chronological order of when they were created. So yeah, there we go. So here's the export, and it's not that exciting right now, but we've got so you can see the class right here. Then you guys are in the webinar class. So you can see the total amount of points for the assignment and the amount of points earned. For the first question, the amount of points earned out of the total, and then you can see the response. And so definitely want to clean up this export sheet a lot, but some teachers find it useful in terms of adding it to their grade books, or just keeping a record, an extra record of the data. So yeah.
And then can you scroll over and show where there's the link to the images?
Definitely, yeah. And so you can see here for a show your work question, you know, you've got the question text, so you know what it's asking for. And then if you go ahead and visit that link, you can actually see the response. So there is, was this your response, Beth?
No, mine was yellow. It didn't look that good.
This looks really nice.
It
But
does look really nice.
look nice as well. And so, yeah, I'd say one of the biggest things that we want to do in the near future is allow you to actually see all of your students' responses within the context of the formative assignment. So, just like a paper assignment, you'd see the questions and then each of their responses. And so it's easier to communicate progress to, other teachers or to parents. We want you to be able to send that digitally and also print that out and provide hard copies. So, yeah.
Actually, that would be really nice. I know with some of them, like, Socrative does a PDF student report, and so the idea of being able to generate that report and have the student even take it home and correct it for homework, or take it, put it in a binder and add it for something else, would be super helpful.
Definitely. Yeah, and in terms of, tracking coming up, we want teachers to be able to tag questions to standards and skills and concepts, and track them across assignments, track that student progress across assignments. And so, with that, we want you to be able to actually go into the student portfolio and see each piece of evidence, each response that is tagged to a standard or a concept or skill that you've set. So it's really easy to share in an IEP meeting or just a parent-teacher meeting, or to review for yourself. So, yeah. Do you guys have any questions or any questions out there about what's coming up or what you guys have seen so far?
Well, I mean, I don't know about questions of what I've seen so far. I think one of the things that we've been using it a lot for lately as well is not even just assessment, but for content dissemination, and like the fact that that you can embed web content and put that in an assignment, and then embed the questions with the content so that you can provide that context has been super helpful. So that's something that I know a few of us have been working with a lot lately, is using it more for like a guided inquiry activity, or a way of getting people to work through a series of challenges and give them things that they can do. And that's been great to be able to show.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, it's just that just speaks to how important our teachers are to making formative really work. That idea, at least for me, came from just one of our dream team members, Joseph Hill, and he, just embedded a Quizlet into his formative. I was like, wow, I didn't even think about using that tool in that way, and so we explored SpeakPipe, which is a great resource for recording directions or read alouds for your students, and then just embedding that into the formative. So a student might have written out instructions, but they also can just hear a recording of that to back up that multisensory learning. And so teachers have really found that useful as well.
So David, as teachers are using formative, if they come up with suggestions for new features, is there a way for them to do that?
Definitely. So over the site, we must receive over 100 teacher messages every day, and say about a third of those are feature requests. And we've just been keeping track. Every single request that's made, we keep account of, and we have a really good idea of what our teachers have said so far, and we definitely know key features that we need to develop. It's, for example, like a multiple choice question type with multiple correct answers. Mm-hmm. And that's probably one of our most requested features. And if we didn't really keep track of that, we'd still probably know that's pretty important, but it just helps validate it when we actually have numeric data to back it up.
Well, sure. It would help you prioritize, too, what you're going to add next.
Definitely. And we also have our dream team of educators, which everyone is invited to learn more about. And we have, so I can actually show that to you really quick. Do we still have time, Beth? Or?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay. So we have this new community section of our website. Have you guys checked this out?
I honestly haven't seen it yet. I know
I
you
have not
emailed about it.
This is
Okay.
great. Show us.
Awesome. So the purpose of this community section was we know that some teachers like to connect with us directly over the site. Some teachers like to explore on their own. Others like our resources and just like to use those on their own. But we really wanted to start to connect our thousands of teachers, and provide that place for them to really collaborate. And so at the top here, we have just quick stories of the power of our tool. And so more than just a testimonial, these are great use cases for using Formative, like this teacher, Mrs. Morris, used it for a really cool spelling activity. So they actually listened to each of the words on Formative and then spelled them out back to the assignment, right? And so they could see those responses coming in live. And then below that, we can see actually our team of educators that are helping us with things such as feature requests. And the way they're doing that is, over the site we can have an A/B conversation, which is really meaningful, as I said before. But it's also great to have like a discussion where we can just have so many perspectives in on one idea. And so these people have been really awesome in helping us with that. We've got our forum here as well, which is, we've got a general FAQ section, and this thing is like maybe 4 days old or something like that. But we've got just like frequently asked questions, and that's not just like a static resource. If you've got a question out there that you have, just ask it here, and another teacher will help you out, or I'll help you out pretty much immediately. We've got this formative hack section, which is going back to that idea of embedding audio into formatives. This section is all about using formative and hacking it and building in other resources to make it even better. So we've got Joe Marquez, who has incorporated this awesome site, 360cities.net, which is just like virtual 3D tours, kind of like if you were walking around with Google Maps, like a 3D view, and he embedded that into a formative to really give his students that firsthand experience of visiting the Capitol. And so this just gives like other teachers great ideas for using formative and other tools with it.
I think the math piece too, I know we had in one of the forums, we had that whole conversation and ended up embedding, and I have that one that we hacked together. Actually, if you want, I can share my screen and pull it up. But we had, we looked at hacking together different different web-based tools to give students like dynamic math, and like how could we get them engaging with different things, just because of the fact that you can drop that embed code to anything that's web-based straight into it.
Definitely, yeah. If you want to pull that up, that'd be great. I know that you had that awesome assignment that you shared, which I forget what the tool was, but
yeah,
it's like
what we ended up doing was, just because there was that conversation that just I got interested, and I am not necessarily a math person, but it was I called it super cool math stuff, and I just started pushing buttons to see what would happen, and I was so excited too when and I'll show this part about how how all of it comes together. But for example, like this is from GeoGebra Tube, and GeoGebra is like dynamic math, where you can take a mathematical concept, whether it's geometry or algebra, and then manipulate it. So this right here, what you see, looks like it might just be a static drawing, but you'll notice that when I put my cursor over it, things move. So like I can grab the vertices of this triangle and rotate it. So this is complete, it's complete dynamic manipulatable math that I can do right here in Formative. And then just as a hypothetical, I was like, okay, what do you think this is showing? Like what happens as you adjust the vertices? And essentially, it's showing like the idea of triangulation. Like if you draw 3 lines and they all intersect at this point, sort of helps to give you a sense of like where you are, and each of these is bisecting these other triangles. And then, the idea of just to do a show your work. And then this one was from Desmos, and Desmos didn't play very nicely when I went to get the embed code, where I was able to create this parabola, and when I grabbed the embed code from Desmos, all it gave me was this kind of lame static picture. So I had to put the link in here, and I'm like, oh, go to Desmos, and then, oh, adjust the variables. That should have said variables. But the idea was that, the students could open that up in a new tab and figure out what was the math behind the curve. And then the same idea, show your work. And this time what I did, make these go away. This is one of those upload and transform questions. I just took the exact same image and dropped the questions on the graph. So like, what do you call this thing? And I honestly, by the way, have no idea what any of the answers are. I completely made these up. So they're not real. A real math teacher is probably cringing right now. But it seemed logical. But question 3, if you were to open it up, what is this point called? I have no idea. I was thinking like apex or something, but I don't actually know if that's a word you use with parabolas. My 9th grade geometry teacher's, having a heart attack right now. But I'm sure that has a name, whatever it might be. So just that you can add these different things in, and again with this upload and transform, for anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, like that's this question type over here. And the fact that you can upload anything, like a Word document, a PDF document, and then stick the questions in it. So like I had a group actually of special ed instructors, and we were looking at literacy. And so I grabbed a piece of text that was sort of at reading level and then used these upload and transform, which now I have this here. If I click, it gives me, add a question, add content. So like we added the audio recording of reading the passage out loud. We stuck the questions specifically in the text, because sometimes with, struggling readers, they have such a hard time going back through the text to figure out like where is the reference. So we actually stuck the questions right next to where they could find the answers, so they could focus not just on like skimming through reams of text, but like interpreting what was right there. And then it was, we even had, it was elementary, so even to be able to say, okay, now what I want you to do is, draw what you think you just read. Like what was the scene? Just as a comprehension check, because maybe they can't type a summary yet. So just, playing with this, but this has just been the idea of using this as this tool, not just for, those assessment checks, but for ways to have students interact with content in different ways and to be able to push content out. And, I know you've showed me about, I'll click on the button, but like the add content over here, I mean, the fact that I can grab a YouTube video and drop it right in, or an image, or I was so excited when you showed me about the whole like add a text block, and then click the little HTML dude over here so that you can drop in anything that was on the web. That's just been so powerful to have this not just as a one-time quiz, but as this way to really guide students through an experience. Has been so cool to work with people on setting that up.
Oh yeah. And what was that spell check tool that you're using?
Oh, so okay, so I will totally admit it. I am using Grammarly right now. And because I'm writing so much, I actually paid for the annual subscription. It's really good, and it follows me around all of my browsers. I just log into it, but it checks my grammar and my spelling. There's certain things I really can't spell at all.
That's very cool.
But it's like, it's this little dude up here. and it runs in any browser. And then there's even an app for it that you could like type an entire paper in Grammarly, and if you pay for it, it even does a plagiarism checker, just in case you're worried about yourself. But to be honest, I haven't used the app yet. I've just really liked having it in browsers. My emails are grammatically correct now.
Yeah, I've definitely made a couple typos and some tweets out there, but
it's been better.
Yeah, I could see that being useful for students as well. I know teachers have asked about a spell checker, but also, the ability to check for plagiarism. So that's cool.
Well, there is a free version. The free version does like all your spelling and then some grammar, but not like it has an advanced checker that gets into grammatical things that I don't even know what they're talking about. It told me I messed something up the other day, and I honestly don't even know what the words were that it told me was wrong. So when you pay for it, it definitely gives you a lot more, but just the free version's pretty good about picking up, run-on sentences and misspelled words and some things like that.
See, that's something that I'm gonna have to add in here as a formative hack, And we've got also just like a wall of love here, which is once again more than just testimonials. It's just like ways to actually use formative. And so got Rachel Posh sharing how she used it for one of the very first times with her students in Spanish, and using video, like a video, to basically have students demonstrate their comprehension. So basically they're just describing something in Spanish. I can go ahead and open it. But and then having the students do the reverse, so having a description and then having students draw it out. So really ensuring her students really understood what and could envision what they were reading or watching. So yeah, this is it. So it was actually an image instead of a video, but yeah, that's from ELF. And so it says in the photo, use 4 phrases to describe those words, right? And then the opposite of drawing what this description is. So it's just great ideas for using formative, like what is happening in the picture. So that's one of the other sections of our forum. And then lastly, we have share formative with others. And so, for example, I shared our webinar today, and other people are just getting advice on how to share formative with others. And so some people gave a lot of great feedback to Sean about this, just this one case. We've also got this growing library of free shared assignments. And with this community section, I'm trying to make it even easier for people to share assignments. One thing I'd like to point out there is one thing we've been noticing is with the share with teachers link, some people are unable to find it, or maybe it's their first time using our site. And so I provided this GIF on the right, which shows you grabbing that share with teachers link from either a folder or an assignment by clicking on share with teachers or share. And so that allows a teacher to actually go into the library, pick a grade, so let's pick math. There's a lot of examples here. 3rd grade, exit ticket. I can view all the standards here, and then I can see the name, and then lastly I can go ahead and access the assignment by clicking on that link. And that'll just create a copy of it on my dashboard. And so I can do whatever I want with that copy without affecting the original. So
this would be a great way for departments, or grade level teachers to share content with each other, so that they're not all creating the same types of assessments, that can divide and conquer.
Definitely, yeah. Teachers do use the share with teachers option. One thing to point out there is when you do share an assignment with another teacher, the pre-existing responses don't transfer over to the new copy or to the other person's copy. And the simple reason for this is to protect student privacy. Because imagine that link gets out there and somebody else accesses it, and you don't want them to access those student responses or see those student names.
Sure. Yep.
But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, but one day I know how important it is to collaborate with co-teachers, having collaborated with co-teachers for 4 years myself, and so we definitely are considering how to allow people in the same school to really work together apart from just sharing login information, So, yeah.
Cool. I know, yeah, talking to teachers too, like they've all.
You guys still there?
I'm here. Beth, we lost you.
Her screen might have just frozen up a little bit. Oh, there we go. Hey, so we lost you for a second.
I'm here. I think we're good.
Okay. And so you were saying?
Oh, I was saying that, I think teachers are really going to appreciate having that community section because, in the past we've shared out the link to the spreadsheet, but now to be able to say, oh, yeah, it's right here, it's informative, here's where you can go to find more information, will be super helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, we also have our blog on here. I tried to just make it a little bit nicer looking, and we have the past 3 posts have all just been from our Dream Team members. Like, there's a really awesome article on how Joe has been using Formative to make worksheets work again. And I know there's a lot of stigma around the word worksheets, but the way he defines it as a piece of paper that allows him to assess student learning. And so people have different definitions, but the way that Formative makes that work for him again is because he doesn't wait till the next day to act on student responses. He intervenes right then and there, as you can see with these GIFs.
Well, and what's better than grading student work on the spot and not taking a stack of papers to grade home?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. That would have been definitely huge for me, and we had some multiple choice sections that took a really long time to grade.
Oh yeah.
Just because I was just checking it over twice, really. And so, yeah, lastly, we have this resources section, and we have our Google Slides, which is just like a presenter slideshow. And then we also have our user guide as well, which might be a little bit easier to open in a new window. But later today, I'm going to be hopefully adding just all of our YouTube videos organized a little bit better than our YouTube channel, so it's easy for all our teachers to find what they need. And I also want to just make this site I want our teachers to really own it. And so, for example, at the YouTube section, I want to have any user created video about Formative. If they want it up here, I want it up here, and we do as a team. Same thing with these other resources, or with our blog, or with the assignments being added, of course, and all the ideas being shared. So really want to make this a place for our teachers to connect with each other rather than just us. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll definitely stick this webinar up there so you can put that up as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to ask. Be awesome.
No, go for it, please. Absolutely stick it up there. Feel free to share. Again, for anyone who's been watching live, if you scroll down on the page that we've got, this webinar right now, there's a set of help slides with some links to more information. So hopefully that will also be helpful. But David, this has been amazing. I know I've learned a bunch of things. Like, I'd been dying to see exactly how certain things worked, and I just wasn't sure. And so this was fantastic, and I can't thank you enough for coming to join us. I would say on this miserable rainy night, but where it is for you two, it's beautiful, and it's just it's freezing.
Yeah. I won't rub it in.
Yeah, don't rub it in.
Yeah, David, this is great. And, it's amazing when we get to speak to the person that's developing a tool like this and to be able to ask these questions and get the answers from the insider. So the fact that you guys are so willing to share and be so transparent with your users is a great sign of things to come for Formative.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we've got a small team, just 6 of us, but we're all here, and we're all up for connecting with educators. If anybody out there, you guys ever have any questions or ideas or anything, just reach out to me, david@goformative.com. So.
Absolutely, we will, and hopefully you'll hear from more of our participants and friends, because as we're coming into like summer workshop season and everything else, we'll definitely be teaching a lot of Formative. So thank you again to both of you so much for coming out. I guess afternoon, evening. It's been a lot of fun, so thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, David.
All right.
All right. Bye, David. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.